Five problems to resolve in Budget 2025. Nothing crystallizes public attention like a data point. This week, India was informed that GDP growth in 2024-25 slid to 6.4%. Public investment is lower, industrial growth poorer, and consumption is slower. There is much lather on ways to prop consumption, for instance, which is cut in income tax rate. Gaming growth numbers may deliver an illusion. Sustainability calls for fixing problems and growth will follow. Here are new ideas in no particular order. National grid for perishables. A major factor hurting demand is food inflation, hovering at 7%, 7 plus percent over an year, particularly in perishables. India needs a national grid for perishables akin to what Verghese Kujan created for milk. Inducting a national grid will catalyze higher yields, improve farmer incomes, and spur employment and curb post-harvest wastage that is estimated at 25%. The grid will bridge forward and backward linkages. For starters, the government could use one district, one product database and use the Amul and Mother Dairy procurement models. Storage will follow procurement as cooperatives and private players enter production contracts. For sure, the template will need policy tweaks for contracts, enhancing credit via Kisan credit cards and funding of cold chains at panchayats. Udyam credit cards. Access to formal credit has persistently haunted micro entrepreneurs. A CRISIL report reveals that formal credit penetration in the sector is at a mere 20%, while a parliament committee found that formal credit touched at only 39% of a smaller enterprises. Micro entrepreneurs suggest to get credit and end up paying usurious rates to private lenders, as he has recently been flagged by the RBI. While banks have been directed to land Udyam registered entrepreneurs under priority sector norms, access is stalled or denied. How about an Udyam credit card for micro enterprises? There is an opportunity to replicate the 1998 idea of Kisan credit cards. Access can be based on Udyam registration, and the credit limits can be calibrated on business size and digital trail of UPI transactions. Norms can be set for upgrades and delinquency, and for eventual migration to platforms hosting the unified lending interface. Monetize solar highways. India's growth is fueled largely by government spending on infrastructure. To fuel growth, it imports a bulk of its energy needs. The template faces challenges. The infra landscape, however, presents an opportunity. India has nearly 150,000 kilometers of national highways. High solar radiation states account for around 70,000 kilometers. The norms state four-lane highways must be divided by a median with a width of roughly 5 meters, 2.5 meters in hilly areas. The median has a clear headroom, zero habitation threats, allows for rapid setting up of customized high-mast solar panels with automation and innovation on angling. The Road Transport Ministry could direct the National Highways Authority to map the potential, initiate pilot projects by the National Thermal Power Corporation, and offer the ready to plug and play spaces for bids from public and private investors. As the idea expands, it will trigger economies of scale in pricing of equipment and energy per kilowatt hour. The solar highways will present an option for green data centers, automobile charging stations, and fund new highways and even trim toll rates. Amrit Kal Fund, the ambition of Viksit Bharat, calls for quantum rise in funding. The SBI chairman estimates India would need 1,000 lakh crore for 8% growth by 2036. This would call for leveraging public sector assets. The idea is challenged by concerns over concentration of wealth and power. It is also haunted by partisan politics. A viable avenue is to step away from the construct of privatization of shared public ownership. The idea is to park all PSU holdings of the government into an Amrit Kal fund, a sovereign entity akin to GIC of Singapore. India's public sector enterprises have improved earnings, and the market value of public sector stocks has nearly trebled in the recent years. The embedded value offers an opportunity to trim deficit, retired debt, and upgrades sovereign ratings. To avoid political pushback, the government can further transfer PSU holdings in excess of 51%. The fund can be leveraged to raise resources deployed as a vehicle for disinvestment and can be listed as an exchange traded fund to investors. The money raised can be used to trim deficit and retired debt. Atmanirbhar senior citizens. India is home to over 150 million senior citizens, many of whom lack pension benefits. The total is expected to touch 350 million by 2050. Seniors are savers, investors, and consumers. To propel the trifecta and growth, India needs retooling of tax policies for seniors. Senior citizens aspire to an active life and are often self-employed to scaffold their sense of identity and engagement with society. It would be useful to review the 18% GST they pay on consultancy incomes. Given their frugal living, there is no potential to offset GST. Why not trim GST on the income of seniors, at least with a cap? Seniors also choose to live independently, often at serviced homes. Could there be an exemption on the purchase of residential property by seniors? The Trump brand of uncertainty has economic and potential implications. India can leverage its domestic economy to weather global storms. If it's big, if it fixes, uh, if it's if it's a big if it fixes persistent problems. So National Grid for perishables, Udyam credit card, monetize solar highways, Amrit Kal fund, and Atmanirbhar senior citizens. Next is planning our lives beyond work. Third is why is Delhi important for Modi? None of the Delhi's previous CMs were ever into a direct confrontation with the PM. In 1967, Vijay Kumar Malhotra, Delhi's first chief executive councillor with no independent powers, worked closely with the LG to convert Delhi into a city of fountains. Even the Yamuna was partially cleaned. Subsequently, BJP chief ministers worked harmoniously with Congress governments at the center. Sheila Dikshit, a three-term Chief Minister, never had even a minor tiff with Atal Bihari Vajpayee because the CM accepted the PM supremacy and vice versa. If Modi is neither a Vajpayee nor a Narasimha Rao, Kejriwal is also no Dikshit or Madanlal Khurana. Neither is willing to cede political space. The BJP is hoping that Kejriwal's acceptability has declined due to his publicized obsessious lifestyle. They hope his alleged corruption in excise policy and hyperbolic attacks on Modi will disenchant voters. Vice Chancellor will become viceroys. Same opinion in both the articles. This is Financial Express and this is Indian Express. So Vice Chancellor will become viceroy. Practically all governments crave more power and make laws to give themselves more control and authority. It is because the rulers believe they alone know what is good for the country and the people. Some individuals also have the same complex. It is called savior complex. It is a psychological construct that leads to believe that he must fix all the problems and save the people. Tucked away inside the pages of newspapers was the story headlines: UGC revised guidelines for appointment of VCs. The subject matter was the selection process of Vice Chancellor of universities. The UGC has issued draft regulations and invited comments. Presently, in most acts authorizing the establishment of one or more universities, the governor of the state is made a chancellor. In some acts established central universities, president is the visitor. The governor is invariably was a long retired political leader of eminence, a distinguished citizen. The governor was expected to would function constitutionally. The current regulations provide for search cum selection committee that will include a nominee each of the governor, state government, senate of university and syndicate of the university. The search cum selection committee was broad based and democratic, though the final selection was by the Chancellor Governor. In the past, the governor ordinarily acted as the aid and advise on the aid and advice of the state government. That practice unfortunately was buried in the last decade, and governors have appointed vice chancellors in their sole discretion. Times have changed for the worse. Under the present dispensation, governors are political appointees rewarded for loyalty to the RSS BJP's ideology or trusted retired civil servants. In opposition ruled states, the governor is instructed to act as the viceroy of the central government and to shackle the state government. In effect, there is a hierarchy in the states: the elected government and the unelected governor. The aid and advice clause in the constitution has been thrown to the wind. Creeping diarchy, witness governors refusing to read whole or parts of the address to the Legislative Assembly prepared by the convention by the state government. Witness the governor publicly criticizing state government, especially the chief minister. Witness the governor summoning the chief secretary or the police chief and issuing instructions to them by passing by bypassing the chief minister. Witness the governor embarking on tour to the state to review the district administration and hold discussions with the district officials. Diarchy is entrenching itself, especially in opposition rule states, in contravention to the provisions of the constitution. Section 22 of the UGC Act stipulates that a degree means any degree as specified by UGC and can be granted only by university established by an act. The new draft regulations prescribe the mode of search cum selection appointment of vice chancellor. It will be through a three-member committee comprising a nominee each of the chancellor. UGC and apex body syndicate senate board of the university. The committee shall prepare a panel of 3 to 5 names and the chancellor shall appoint one of them. If a university violated the regulation, it will be debarred from offering a degree programs or participating in UGC schemes. Two viceroys vetted for ideological purity will be in place to administer the university: the governor chancellor and the vice chancellor. Draft regulations, if notified, will usurp the rights of the state government that had established the university for the benefits of residents of the state and funds the university out of the state's own resources. The draft regulations virtually nationalize the universities, and messiahs will take control of all higher educational institutions of the country. It is a blatant attack on federalism and states' rights. The state must repudiate the draft regulations and fight politically and legally to defend the nationalization of Indian universities. Delhi gives everyone the blues election campaign lessons from the Free India's first Mahakumbh. Instead of being record turnout for Delhi, 40 lakh devotees, out of whom took a dip at Triveni Singam, the confluence of the Ganga, the Yamuna, and the mythical Saraswati. The Mela is remembered for the stampede that claimed the lives of nearly 800 pilgrims. However, the government estimates puts a figure at half the number. 12 years later, in 1942, Mahakumbh was held in Allahabad under the shadow of World War II. Organized by British, the number of pilgrims in 1942 Mela was restricted to due to security concerns. The report of the inquiry committee set up to look at the stampede suggests that preparations for the event of this scale moved at a rather sluggish pace of the first week of September 1953. The report of the committee, headed by Justice Kamal Khan Verma, notes this is late even for an ordinary Kumbh Mela, to say nothing short of the Kumbh of the type 1954 Kumbh. Cash Cow Cop. Telangana's Chief Minister Revant Reddy's popularity has plummeted ever since he has adopted unnecessarily harsh approach towards superstar Allu Arjun. A final journey. A dinner invite for Pikitarians. So this was it McDonald and Conrad show coaches work best in the background. Australian cricket coach Andrew McDonald. Vice Chancellors will become viceroys. So that's it for today. See you in the next one.